Intestine imbalance, doctor. Let's now proceed to diagnosis according to Zhang organ patterns, small intestine imbalance. The main function of the small intestine is to receive the untransformed dross from the stomach and separate the pure aspects that are still present from the impure waste. The pure fluids and qi that are extracted in the small intestine are transmitted upwards via the sangel, and the impure fluids and solids are sent to the urinary bladder and the large intestine respectively. Although these processes take place in the small intestine, they do so under the influence and control of the spleen and kidney yang. This means that most signs of imbalance in the small intestine are viewed as being spleen and kidney imbalances and treated accordingly. For example, in the treatment of diarrhea, spleen and stomach points will typically be used, not the small intestine points. When the small intestine is treated in this situation, it is usually through the use of its lower Hussey point, stomach 39. Small intestine imbalance patterns can arise when the small intestine is directly invaded from the exterior. This can occur through either the skin of the abdomen or the mouth and the stomach. Cold can invade through the skin of the abdomen when this area has been exposed to the climate, for example, when a person has worn too little or worn wet clothes. Damp heat, damp cold, or exogenous cold can invade the small intestine via the mouth and stomach when food that is contaminated or has gone off has been ingested, or when food that is energetically very cold or hot produces dampness or has a very cold temperature has been ingested. The long-term consumption of food and beverages that are energetically or physiologically cold will weaken the spleen yang and kidney yang. Damp heat, damp cold, and yang deficiency can all disrupt the speen's ability to transform and transport. This can manifest with changes in the stool and or pain in the abdomen. The consumption of energetically hot food as well as emotional imbalances can create stomach fire transmitted to the small intestine, creating heat. Parasitic worms are defined as etiological factors that are neither exterior nor interior. A person can have been infected through contact with contaminated food or dirt. Worms will enter the body through the mouth. The worms will block the movement of both qi and solids in the small intestine. By inhibiting the separation of the pure and the impure, worms will lead to malnutrition. Qi stagnation in the small intestine can arise when qi stagnates in the middle and lower jiao. Qi stagnation in the small intestine could affect the stool and cause intestinal pain. There are several factors that can lead to qi stagnation here. Liver qi stagnation can arise due to emotional frustrations, stress, repressed anger, and irritation. The stagnant liver qi can accumulate and block the movement of qi through the intestines. Worry, speculation, and thinking too much will bind and thereby stagnate spleen and stomach qi, so their qi mechanism grinds to a halt, with the result that qi movement through the intestines is impaired. Qi stagnation in the small intestine can also be a consequence of too little exercise, poor posture, and a general lack of physical movement. If a person spends too much time sitting still, especially if their posture is poor or they sit with a twisted midriff, will physically prevent the movement of qi through the intestines. This is a particular problem when a person eats whilst they are working on the computer. Excess heat can drain down to the small intestine from its partner organ, the heart. This means that all of the etiological factors that can lead to heart fire can be relevant here. Heat will disrupt the small intestine's function in relation to fluid physiology. The heat can thereby be transmitted to the urinary bladder, resulting in symptoms such as painful or burning urination, dark urine, and possibly blood in the urine. In some cases, deafness can result from pathogenic qi, for example, fire disrupting the flow of qi in the small intestine channel. General symptoms and signs of a small intestine imbalance are the following: abdominal pain, abdominal bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and berberigmine. Thank you for your attention.